Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. We're on the hour 101 p.m. Eastern Time. Carrollton, Georgia, an hour away from Atlanta. And this is Essence Paula Fiction, Nonfiction Radio. That's right. That's right. Come on in, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. As you come on in, just come on and you know, I'm right here chilling with y'all for a while today. It's raining in Georgia. Everybody, most of the people in Georgia, we are in this winter storm, and I'm just praying everything be all right. So let's get into it. I'm gonna be talking about, the SSI and uh, talking about Expats and Gen X and just different things covering on what's kind of going on here. Um, well, let me first cover uh, SSI for a moment. I can't speak on my situation right now. That will be later in another video. But oh wow, I just like anybody else, I'm doing my research. Okay, and like I said, this not for everyone or whoever come. You get the gym, whatever. Talking gym, talking facts, whatever. But also do your own research. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm doing my research as well, and as we all know, in the United States, it's to the point where a lot of people, you know, they voted for their guy and now they're fed up. I'm not talking about everybody, but a certain percentage of them voted for their guy and they're fed up and they're leaving out the country. Okay. Now, I mean, other people leaving out the country anyway. So, but the first time when their guy was in office, we thought it was a joke, but I know Stevie Wonder packed up with his family the very first time, and that's been 8 or 10 years ago, and maybe said that they was gonna move on out the country, and so Stevie Wonder been out the country. You Google it. What has it been? 10 years now? Him and his family they went to Africa. And that's beautiful. They have the money. Africa is expensive. You have the money. You know what I'm saying? Hi, Cam. Hi, JJ. I'm doing great. My mood swing is moving, okay? I hope you all are doing great. Welcome. So Stevie Wonder, Google him. Him and his family been out the country for years now. So here's the thing, SSI. I'm doing the research. A lot of Gen X's, I don't know, 55 and up or whoever dealing with Social Security and disability or retirement. I know I've been working since I was 16. So this is our damn money. And since some of you all buddy has been in the office, they're trying to tell us what to do with our daggone money. Okay? And here we are, we're 59, and it's to the point that, they're trying to tell you what you can do with your damn money. And it's gotten out because a lot of people that has Social Security, which they have worked for, and I'm speaking mainly of 55 and up, they have worked for all their lives, on and off. And when you get your Social Security, whatever. Now, damn, you got to be told what to do with it. Well, of course, there's always been rules, but a lot of people that are like you say, disabled, disability, got a lot of different health issues. It's really come to find out it's almost better to live out the country, even though the atmosphere, the whatever the air was in the air, you got to get used to whatever is going on. Okay, so you know, uh, uh, so anyway, they okay, but first of all, when y'all come on in, relax, because I'm mainly talking and dealing with Gen X's, but we're not going to disrespect my platform. Okay. All right. Now, so you've worked all these years, and what's really gotten out where people has been traveling with the SSI and is in a direct deposit. Now I want y'all to Google SSA. I'm talking about the grown people now. The people that are Gen X is 55 and up. Google it. Always go and check your SSA.com. I mean, the gov or whatever. Do your research. Because the thing is, people are talking. Okay? You should be able to, if you're dealing with health problems, going out the country, sometimes it's great to get a second and third opinion. Now, I'm going to tell you this. As I know of personal friends, the amount that they get, if you get like, I don't know, some people get $1,200, $1,600, I don't know. And some people may just get, it used to be just $750, And I know, and then plus Social Security. That's how it was, rest in peace, when my mother was alive. So my mother was living in, we go by income in Greenbrier in Atlanta. She was living in a high rise, very beautiful high rise in Greenbrier. Prime example, rest in peace, mom, because I had to take care of her finance. Let me see, how much was her apartment? Because she was all the way up on the 11th floor. Anyway, I found out it was like $1,100. I never knew that. She had been there over 20 years. But by them going by the HUD, the fixed income, because that she only at the time, because now it's like 9 something that people get. But at the time she got $750, and I think Social Security was like $120. It all depends, because she mainly worked within my family business. So, but when she worked, that was her Social Security and all of that drawn. But anyway, she only had to pay $211 because it went by her income. And it was very nice place, very nice and everything. So I remember before she died, we was like, eventually we did get our passports, and she was like, before I die, I would love to travel. And at that point, this is another video. But anyway, I had to take over my uncle's estate, because at the same time he was dying and all that, blah, blah, blah. So like I said, I know what it's like to have money and not have money. But anyway, so I couldn't see myself. I was so exhausted, and then living with bipolar 2 disorder, wasn't even diagnosed at the time. And I don't even think I was on meds. That was when I was like 48, 50 or something like that, because I'm 59 now. But it was like, Mom, how can we do that? I would have to have a nurse, with me. And she was like, huh? Why? She thinking in her head it could just be me and her, but she was on she had CPS, CP, whatever that was, dealing with lung, but she had the oxygen tank and then had them big ones. And when I would drive her all around, oh my God, I had to log with the big ass tanks and stuff because she needed oxygen 24/7. So she would have it. And see, she had care Medicaid, but I noticed the other people had those little cute little oxygen things where she could just carry it herself, you know. And the ones I saw with those, it was people that had their own private care insurance. I don't know what it was, but I didn't see many blacks with them. But I saw a lot of whites had those better kind, in Georgia. You notice certain things. So anyway, I was the one to drive my mom and all them around and taking care of them. But anyway, that's another video. So, oh Lord Jesus, I'm getting anxiety by talking about it. Yeah, I got in love with the tanks and stuff, and that would have been really nice for us, even though because she did get to travel when she was younger, but that would have been nice. But I was so traumatized, and she triggered me so because of her dementia came on so strong. I'm like, Mom, we can't travel like that, but we got our passports, and I'm getting ready to renew mine by March, my birthday. But she exhausted me so. The dementia, and that would have been so nice. But I would have said, honey, we would have had to have a nurse to travel with us, and we didn't know how to go about getting stuff like this. Knowledge is powerful. Knowledge is really powerful, and I wasn't getting paid to take care of her or them, but we was taken care of through my uncle's them estate, and even to after he died, we was able to, live off that for 3 years, and but that's another thing. She wanted to put everything in her name and in her account and all of that. And see, while they're living, I'm going to tell you, you got to make sure your name is on their account so you can be able to handle things like when they die. So you could be able to handle things. So I made sure all of that was happen. I can't remember the name, but you got to also be there. Whatever it is. But anyway, now you're supposed to be with your caregiving. You when you care for a loved one. Well, in Georgia, I think now they supposed to allow and let for people to get paid to do that. It was in other cities, but I understand it was in Georgia a long time ago. But it take one person to mess things up, and so they got rid of it. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you, that's another video. It got to the point when we had no money and I had to take care of her. And I ended up homeless, living in my vehicle for 3 years at the time when I had my truck after I had sold my house and ran out of money. I didn't do right. I take accountability that I didn't do right by all my money. But I sure damn was going to get my Silverado. And I did, and had it for 10 years, and it served its purpose, and blah, blah, blah. But, honey, Social Security, it's to the point, if you get, again, a certain amount, and where you live may be the same amount what you get, if you don't have a vouch or Section 8 vouch or something to help you, then you shit out of luck. Excuse the expression, man. That's what it is. And so everywhere in the U.S., if you don't have a voucher, especially as a Gen X, you know, to help you, that's hard unless you are living with someone or you are just, paying part help, you roommating or whatever it is. People like a lot of me and you and stuff, we like to stay on our own, just like, my senior living apartment, you know. I don't want to live with nobody. I don't want nobody to live with me. And the same go with my children. I don't want them to take care of me. I don't want to live with them. I don't want them to live with me. Blah, blah, blah. That's it. And they know this. And I pray that God just let me die in my sleep. If it don't, then you already need to, even in your 20s, you need to start setting up and making your own arrangements while you can. Because, baby, you can leave this world anytime. And just like I told them, I want to be cremated and pull my ashes fast. And then go to the sports bar and get your dinner, have fun. I don't want no funeral or nothing like that. And I've already told them that. And that's the way it's going to be. To each his own. I don't want all that tradition and mess. I don't want nobody looking at my body, viewing my body, looking at me. I'm telling them all that too. And I don't do funerals anymore. So I don't care who died. I won't be there. I didn't even give my mom a funeral. I just cremated her body and I eventually just poured her ashes 3 years later. That's another video. So it's like this channel is mental illness is real. So is God. You got to take care of your own. You got to take care of yourselves, Gen X, or you got to take care of your own self. I don't care what age you are. 18 and up. You got to take care of your own self, And so, this is the type of world we in. It's always somebody's watching you, is telling you whatever. They is also trying to control your life, trying to tell you whatever to do with you, your life as a grown ass person. So it's like, be careful to keep doing your research to be a content creator. Do what you like to do. Don't have people tell you what they want and stuff. Even though if YouTube end up monetizing you, stay with your first love. Talk about what you like to talk about. And it will gravitate to that. Because see, and that's another thing. Everybody's not going to like you anyway, point blank. So that's why a lot of these actors and actresses, sometimes they will go on these different talk shows, I noticed, and they'll say, like, for example, if I'm talking now to people that can remember I think is it All in the Family with Edith with her high-pitched voice, who all can remember back then. She will be on these talk shows, and she's so beautiful about, rest in peace. I think she's dead now. I don't know. It's a white lady. But anyway, and she will always say, so and so. She talked with a high-pitched voice. I forgot the man's name, but he played in Heat of the Night as well. But rest in peace, all of them. But that was my favorite show. Well, All in the Family, it was all right. But that's where the Jeffersons kicked off at. But anyway, so they were asked to do her character. And she told them very nicely, she says, no, I'm not doing that. I get paid for that. I say, have mercy. Now that's what I'm talking about. You have to be careful about society and this and growing up and what is it, blooming or whatever being discovered off of social media. A lot of time people say, "Oh, I thank my fans and all that and blah blah blah," because they love your craft, or you know how you hear those singers and stuff say, "Oh, I thank my blah blah blah" and all of that. And I remember Ray Charles on Ray when Jamie Foxx played that. They used to Ray Charles was in concert and he would be doing something. They'll tell him say, "Play so and so, play so and so," and he would just play what he was already programmed to play. That's another thing. We cannot allow social media and society to rule our lives, and tell you what to do. It's just like Carlton. You be on Fresh Prince. The guy used to do that dance. And so when he went and was on talk show, what's that girl name? She sings, Jennifer Hudson. He went down the line, you know how they go down this hallway, but he was doing other dances. Everybody was waiting and expecting him to do that dance. No. So I say this also, don't be nobody's Muppet, Yeah, you appreciate your supporters and your fans, but they don't control your life. It's just like I was looking at the interview of Shayla on Country Wayne. She said that was her first interview on this podcast, and I posted. If you subscribe, like, and and it's nothing to subscribe and like and share, what have you, in the community part where I post, I post a lot of other content creators. I've always loved to do stuff. It's like a blog. I've always loved it. If I seen something in it and like it, then somebody else would. I have no problem supporting other content creators and just just want to keep the peace and just like that lady said, this content creator said, every time you see me, you ain't got to see me grinning from ear to ear and all of that. Sometimes you wonder, but sometimes she's like, you could be nice, and I'm all over the place. I know you could be nice, but sometimes people take your niceness, your kindness for granted, and think that they can make it a mat, a doormat. No, like I said, don't let the smooth taste fool you. I'm no joke. I'm telling you, I am no joke. I had to work hard to come to this point of saying no means no. And that means to my grown children too, So anyway, you have to just be, so back to Shayla. Shayla on Country Wayne. She grew up in Atlanta, but she's from somewhere else. I got all of that in my community posts. Okay. And she was saying, the young lady asked her, she said, well, you gonna post? She said, where can we find you? She said, well, I'm with Sports by Shayla. That's her first love because she liked to talk about sports and stuff. And you would look at her and say, wow, really? She does sports? But you wouldn't think that. But then the lady asked her in the interview, she said, well, you gonna put up anything that, since you're famous, working with Country Wayne and in the skits. It's just like the skits are just like a soap opera, daytime, nighttime, whatever time you're looking at it. And I've seen that guy grow. And speaking of him, I'm talking about from Facebook to fame. I'm telling you, I'm so proud of him. He's like my son age, 38, whatever, you know. So, but anyway, back to Shayla. Shayla said, no. She said, you could just get me on Country Wayne. Look at the skits. Just look at me, Country Wayne. But she said, but I am with Sports by Shayla. So she's sticking with her first love. You owe that to yourself. You know, don't just because of your gifts don't belong to you because God created for your gifts to be shared with the world. And so the world and the people can be blessed by it. But you're not going to let nobody tell you what to do, and everything. Find your niche. You want to get, and I'm telling you, everything dealing with content creator, all of this stuff ain't number therapy, even if you travel and do it. But anyway, I'm going to be bopping back and forth. Welcome, everyone. We on the hour of 1:27 p.m. Eastern Time in the USA. I am Paula, but this is the Essence Paula Fiction and Fiction Radio. And it's just like I have some documentary of my YouTube and other platforms I'm on that I, will be showing my face and everything. And then some I just be not because I chose to, you know. You people don't realize they think I understand at a certain age when you're under your parents' house or if you're a child, you have to do as told. And then when you grow up and you go into service, the army or whatever you going or whatever you're doing, there is laws, whatever other countries, there are laws, and you do have to abide by the rules. You do. But there's a part where you can find within yourself, your inner peace. No means no. That's dating, whatever. You still have your rights, you have your boundaries, and you have your own household. You if you live within like a senior living, or if you live in an apartment or in a house, there's still certain boundaries of the neighborhoods or whatever you live. But when you're in your home and sit at your own table and take responsibility of what you're supposed to do, then that's a different thing. It is what it is. Like I always say, stick with your first love. Sometimes we go away from it, but then find your way back to it. Because I don't know, it just makes you whole. We all are on a healing journey. Okay. So, but that SSI, y'all be careful, stay, in tune. Some people, when they just getting SSI, they deal with back pay, they deal with this and that, but they still don't want you to keep it in your account. You got to go on and get rid of it. You got to spend, you got to do what you got to do. And you can't keep no more over than what 2,000 or something in your account. Some people could still work if they, it's just, Hi, Adriana. Welcome to the trolls and what you call those game stalkers and So KL, God bless you. With all the foolishness you writing, it's okay. God bless you. We're going to respect this platform. Okay. Now I do rule this part, It's a safe space. We all respect one another. Okay. But yeah, this is It's really expensive in the United States, okay? It's really expensive. And if you can go out the country and live a better life, I get it. But some people get very jealous of other people that got certain money coming in, or it could be anything, and people will do and say anything to try to make people miserable by telling stuff, telling lies. And actually, when you go to certain places and you're going to come back anyway, because they say with SSI, you could travel out the country, but if you out more than 30 days, then it will be cut off. Because they're always sending something. You got to answer to the email. You got to do this. You got to do that. It's like, when you're dealing with the government, and people are going to be dealing with the government, especially if you retired, especially if you're dealing with Social Security, because you worked and you're a citizen in the United States. And this is your money for when you worked. But people still want to make you feel guilty and want to play games, and then here it is with the person in government playing, with our money. And neither to say that the slaves is the one that built the White House. So all of that, people don't care. Everybody don't, like I say, everybody ain't gonna like you, especially of what you've done and what's going on with you. I watch a lot of content creators, and they sit there and talk about a lot of stuff. And I just get what I get from it, just like you would do with me, and move on. But you don't have to get on here and boast. Some people just use it as an example. I know some content creators I really admire, some young ladies. They doing their thing. One got ADHD or whatever. And every time she talks, she laughs. I have a grandson that has that. But a lot of us with mental health challenges, and especially with me with bipolar, I have to be careful, how long that I can be around certain people at times, even with my own kind, dealing with bipolar 2 disorder. I can't be like around somebody all day long that has the same that I have or whatever. I could just only be a couple of hours and that's it. We don't have to talk every day. We don't have to be in each other's face every day, and that's just general. But when you're dealing with the mental health challenges and everything, you got to protect your energy. And like it's a young lady that is sick now that is out the country. Lord bless her. I speak healing. I got sick out the country as well. And another thing, you all, I'm in the live. You can hit the go back and replay this. I'm in the live, the archives, and you can comment at any time. You can give your comments. Welcome, share, like, subscribe, hit the notification button. That costs you nothing. That costs you nothing. And I want you to know that I love you all, and Jesus is your friend, and he loves you more. And God is your heavenly Father. I want y'all to know that. You're welcome to replay any of my archives, okay? And comment. It costs you nothing. I love to support, we support each other. It's just like someone was telling me about TikTok, how they report, support each other. You know how TikTok does. They say, you got to interact. And if you don't, it's not interested in what they saying, you don't have to interact with it, but just hit whatever. Well, YouTube, I know it's different. Someone else had said that some people don't like YouTube, but a lot of us love YouTube, and we can still support each other in different ways by coming by, liking, subscribing. What interests us, and if you really got great information, then I put you in my comment section in my community. It don't have to always be me all the time. You turn around, you see my face. I'm gonna be on however God tell me to go. I'm on God's timing. Like I said, I don't trust nobody, algorithm, anybody. Only thing I trust is God. Then I trust God, who all He put in my circle. I don't trust nobody but God. Because I know God. I trust God well enough who all He's gonna put in my circle. Okay. So it was just little different things. I just want to say, just be careful with your Social Security and stuff. They really don't even have to know that you. It just seems like if you're gonna go somewhere and be there a week and come back, that's nobody's business. That's why we have to be careful when we talk on here. We don't talk about. You don't have to tell everything. You can give a testimony without going all into detail. If you ever want to go in details, write a book or ebook, And so that will be, and if you don't have to go into details then either. It's nothing you hiding. It's your business. You ain't got to tell what's going on with you. But it's certain things, I did have to say. I live with bipolar 2 disorder, and I deal with mood swings. When it rains and the weather's like this, yeah, it put me in a different mood swing, But I have to talk about this because there's other people that need to hear my story daily, even if I just do live every day. And I appreciate your donations. You come on in. I love, you buy me coffee, water, tea, or you just want to bless my channel. Because I'm not monetized yet. I don't have all the views and everything and all of that, but I'm cool. God been taking care of me way before I even got on social media. You know what I mean? And it's that same way with you all. And that's another thing, and a lot of us, especially as we dealing with mental health challenges and living as senior citizens, don't do nothing if you don't want to. You ain't got to do a damn thing. If you don't want to be on YouTube every day, you don't have to. You come on here and say what you want to say, do your therapy. It ain't nothing but therapy, and get off. And if you want to look at your movies, whatever you want to do all day, that's your business. Now, if you really gonna be a full-time content creator and you're on here every day, that's great. More power to you. Do your thing. Senior citizens and others. And see, a lot of us, and I'm speaking now to a small group of us, 55 and up. When we get sick and we don't feel well, we don't want to be bothered. And this young lady, she's pushing and she's still doing her video, even though she's sick. I get it. Because I did the same thing. I went feeling well a lot of times, and I just get on here and I just say what my daggone mood swing is, say what I got to say. And I get on off. If it's 3 minutes, 4 minutes, at least you still showing, because it's a blessing to get income. And I speak that for a lot of us that wants to do more in my life as senior citizens, 55 and up, 52 or 50 years old and up, a 48, 49, whatever. I mean, with all the rest of you. But I'm speaking the ones that get SSI or if you get retirement or whatever you get. If you do something and it takes you out of getting Social Security, whatever, if your building your brand does better and more for you, go for it. Go for it. You know, go for it. Definitely. Definitely go for it. If you making like a heck of a lot and there's people is ready to bless you. They're ready to um sponsor your trips and sponsor your YouTube and your documentaries and your podcasts and you're doing that as a senior citizen and it pays, you know, your bills. And one lady say, YouTube just pays her place for a whole year. But she's a full-time content creator. She's like in her 30s. And that's awesome. If God do that for her, he'll do it for you. And that's another thing I'm hitting on is content creators. I think it's so beautiful for the younger people as well because it really inspire you. You learn from each other, really. But I learned a lot from the generations of my children age, and I'm telling you, all of us is a teacher at some point. Excuse me. Being a teacher is a humbling stage of teaching somebody. And also it's a humbling stage for you to be the listener, be teachable at all times. Because when you teach, you're actually teaching this person to be better than you. That's an honor. I told my children, and I text them this last year and the year before last. I said, I want you to do better than me. Because God got me where I'm supposed to be. I want y'all to do better than me. Because God got me where I'm supposed to be right now. And you could just take that and go wherever you want with that. But that's what it is. You got to know your place. Stop wasting time, please, parents, sons, daughters, sons, mothers, fathers. Don't be jealous of each other. It's a lot of family members. Parents are jealous of their children and vice versa. That's so sad. It's so sad. That's another video. That's so sad, you know. So I say this because this young lady that I admire, that I had gotten the ebook, and I'm still trying to figure it out because I printed it out because of her disability. Her disability is a blessing. Actually, our disabilities is a blessing because it for me, it gives me a voice, and as I go through my healing journey, you know. And so this young lady, I notice a lot of times older women can envy younger ladies and vice versa. So this younger lady is a person that had a hard time growing up, and then her family was strict on her. I understand because I came out of a strict environment too. And the relationship between my mom and I, that's another video. So anyway, rest in peace, Mom. Again, it's like she has good teaching, but I just take what I can, make notes, because she's overseas in another country, and she and and another lady, they teach about exiting out the country. So mine is called Bust a Move Exit to whatever country you want to live in or explore. Mine's called Bust a Move, and that's actually for me, but I'm creating the community of it for Gen X's that is on disability, that deals with health problems and stuff. So this young lady, I I I always say, and I used to hear my parents and elders would say, bless their heart, bless their heart. It's a mercy. It's a mercy when somebody say, bless your heart, bless your. I think that's so sweet because it's a mercy upon someone. You know, instead of saying, I could easily say something else and show hate, but I say bless your heart because people can relate when they say bless your heart. They understand. They've been through it. You know, they have been through it. So this young lady, I noticed that she has great. Uh, she's married, so she's married to one of the young men out the country. She's a black young lady, beautiful young lady, and she married a white guy, and they're beautiful, young, beautiful. And I noticed in some of the other content creators, and specifically, this other group. They seem to be older, and I notice what they speak of her, and I know because they called her name, and then she also has spoken of them, but she just spoke in a nice way. So when you have, like I say, everybody's not gonna like you, and you're gonna have haters. So it's like she shows it up in her videos that she has a new life, better life. She has love in her life. And plus, she stays in a beautiful place in another country. And she's locked in. Whether the other content creators that I see that is among the same thing, they're doing their thing as well. But like most of us, we're still single, and we're older and we're just going along, taking a day at a time. So I say all this because when you fast and pray, and I just finished reading the 19th chapter, the chapter of First Chronicles in the Old Testament. Now it was just, I have to go back and read it because, honey, I'm the type, I deal with, through my disability, I have to go back and read stuff over and over to get a better understanding. But I read it, and I'm not saying it to say I read it just to be saying I read something. But it's so good to get in your Bible and read it like it's a novel. I mean, chapter to chapter. However you led. If you want to read a chapter a day, a chapter a week, a chapter a month, And I've been reading the Bible as a novel for a whole year now. It's over a year. I just take my time. Take my time and read the new translation of it. What is it? NLT? Instead of the King James version, the New Living Translation breaks it down. So I say this is when you read your Bible yourself and get in God's presence, it can be just 7 minutes or whatever. When you in his presence. Now we can pray all day, but what we praying We always praying for something that we want and stuff, but just to be in his presence and say, Lord, I thank you, and showing gratitude for right now, for this moment, without complaining, it enters, it goes into another spirit realm where things, you'll be able to see things so clearly and so clearly, where a lot of people won't be able to handle when it goes into that third eye. You know, and that third eye is that spiritual realm of actually really seeing things the way it is, but you see it the way the world see it differently. And you would know. So you can't tell everybody what you see, because they'll say you're crazy. And that's another thing. I don't care if people is mentally ill or anybody homeless walking down the street, talking out their head, whatever. Listen. Always listen, even what a baby is saying. Because God has a way of speaking through people. Is saying something. And also the devil speaks as well. You know the difference. You know the difference. Welcome. We're on the hour of 1:52 p.m. Eastern time in Georgia, Carrollton, Georgia. An hour from Atlanta. You here with me, Paula. But this is the Essence Paula Fiction Nonfiction Radio. Podcast, whatever you want to call it. Like, subscribe, you know. You're welcome. It don't cost you nothing. So what I'm covering is about the content creators. You know, she just showing what God is doing in her life. And when people get on here and just doing stuff just to, just be casual and doing stuff, there are haters. You're going to have haters when you are doing things to better yourself. When some people feel like they won't be able to do that, they mad because you doing it, that type deal. And that's why a lot of times people take you out your own hometown, because if you tell people or your family member what you doing, just because you doing it, and y'all hear this all the time, spoken anyway you listen, just because you doing it, they don't like that. That's why God gave this channel for me to name it God's Eagle Eyes, because a lot of us are black sheets of the family. We're prayer warriors, intercessors. I mean, hard hitters. Ain't nothing beautiful about that, but it's very rewarding. And God reward us so beautifully, we don't even know we being rewarded at times. And a lot of times, whatever we do silently, God bless you openly, but you give God the praise for that. And so many people are blessed that I see on the content creators that are traveling and doing things. And I'm gonna tell you something, people, it's so sad when you have the monitored spirits and trollers that comment and just looking and don't support, but just comment against you. Try not to let it make you react just because you're in another country. I see another content creator. He allows, and he's like 52, 50 something, allows these trolls. And there's positive trolls and negative trolls, as I see. I'm just really learning that. But he allows people to say stuff to get up under your skin. He's in another country now. He used to stay in South Carolina. He's a content creator. But I really don't believe he's really getting monetized for it. But anyway, I don't know what he do to survive and take care of his family. I really don't care. It's none of our business. But don't be in another country and say, Yeah, y'all over there. But I mean, people can say what they want to say, but I'm not going to even go there. But I noticed the way they react, like, you know, you see what I'm saying, Cam? They be talking stuff like, yeah, y'all back in the United States, I don't know what God, I don't know whatever, but anyway, and all that kind of stuff, and say, well, I'm over here, and I'm climbing up a coconut tree, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. I'm happy for you, but don't nobody care. Like I said, everybody don't care. Everybody, they're just trying to make it. So that is so silly. That's childish. Don't do that. Oh my God. So, okay. So I look at him until he started doing it, and I said, enough, enough, and I just cut it off. And, you know, I, I say now, it's funny because this how children do. It's like when we was children growing up, and we'll all get some candy. Like we might get our favorite kind back in the day, Now Laters and stuff, because I'm born in 1966. Like I get some Now Laters, we get Now Laters stuff, and everybody done ate there. And then all of a sudden, my friend, she been reached in her pocket and pull out some. Where you get that candy at? Well, I mean, when we got out, we ate all out right then. But she ate a little hers and then saved hers for later. And we get mad, like, we want some candy. Well, see, that's the way, and that's the way he act. You know, it's like we still got a child in us, but you're supposed to, when you get grown, you're supposed to, when you leave home, you're supposed to put away childish things. And a lot of us still got it in us, okay? But you're supposed to give God the praise when you reach somewhere and say, look, if God did it for me, he'll do it for you. But no, he just got to say, and I got a woman that loves me, all that stuff. It's like you saying, nah, I'm over here, blah, blah, blah. Now, what if something happened and your ass got to come back to the United States? And see, God works in a way where you, if he don't get the credit, and you out there saying stuff like you did all of this, and you over there, and you just, oh my God, man, I could do this and I could do that. Y'all can't do that, but you just couldn't do that. You was like that in this position 7 months ago. Just because you out the country 7 months later, but 7 months ago you was in the same position that this person were. So here you are, you like, it's like a little child would say, nah, I got some more candy. You can't have it. Nah. Then they say the little song. Like Eddie Murphy. If you look at Eddie Murphy, Google one of his themes back in the 80s, he said talking about how little children go, nah. Nah, 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 nah. I remember doing that. Do that. Ooh, a little. Nah. I'm like, this is like, we still, here we are. They said twice, once a adult, twice a child. You in your diapers as a baby, and then you an adult after 18, or you're supposed to be 18. 18 and up is adult. But then when you become a senior citizen, that's almost like a child like mine again. And it's almost because, mom, rest in peace, I became the adult and she was the child. That's another video again. I will be on that. And so you are twice a child, once an adult. So I said to myself, since he in his 50s, maybe he's just going back in his childlike, and it's a grown man, and he's just carrying on as a content creator. And I tell you, this is amazing. So another thing I want to speak of is on expats. When you're traveling out the country. And like I said, I've been to St. Martin, and I've traveled throughout ever since a little girl, a little here, there, Chicago, Detroit, whatever. And I last traveled 2024, like I said, to St. Martin on the Dutch side. But anyway, I spoke about that on another video, but I'll come back to that in another video. I noticed about the aspects. It's a Facebook group you're in, and and I notice a lot of them is I don't know, they mix black, white, whatever, and a lot of them is younger too. A lot of them younger, but then it's a lot of seniors, as well. It's a lot of Gen X's and stuff that is in those groups as well. You find a group among that is comfortable with you, and I think it's great. So you all can just be able to meet up at certain places or certain parts of the country. It is so cool. That is so cool. I think that's awesome. And it's like I said, it's a women group that does that is too, but it's only for black women. Exodus, all of that is so cool. But I noticed a younger guy, content creator. He's gotten over there and he's having a hard time. And I look at many of them, and I love to post a lot of them in my community, because I support them by liking, subscribing, liking their videos and the interview. I think they're doing so awesome. But I have to say about this young man, God bless his heart. He's one of the guys is from some part of Georgia, whatever. And I can tell he's struggling. God bless his heart. He's trying to better himself as a young black man. And you out there, like I said, a whole bunch of them is in Thailand. Thailand has gotten oversaturated. That's why they have tightened up on the visas. And that's another thing I noticed. People don't talk too much about the visas, but it is visa runs. You have over 30 days. You got to go out the country, then come back and all this stuff. And as a Gen X and dealing with health problems, I have arthritis in my spine, and I'm dealing with my, mental health challenges, bipolar 2 disorder, mood swing. Honey, that will trigger the hell out of me. I don't know about that one. But I could tell it's wearing and tearing on some of the aspects, some of the younger content creators that's doing content now is doing that. I used to watch a young lady 10 years ago was doing it, and I didn't know what this was. I was just looking at her going in all these different black young lady with freckles. I don't see her now. She started doing other stuff, but she was just traveling. She was doing all that. Back then, they were doing good, making money. But now, since people are quitting jobs and they are going hard as a content creator, it's oversaturated going to talent. And we got to be careful and go by the laws. Because like one older lady said, it's not, they love the tourists, but you just, what you done, the mindset you had in America, you can't take that to out the country, Vietnam or wherever else you at. So I noticed this young man, doing well, bless his heart. But I'm going to tell you, you need that traveling insurance. Now I'm speaking on, and look, welcome to my Essence Parlor, Fiction Unfiction Radio. Okay, welcome. I'm Paula. I'm born 1966. I am 59, and I have 3 grown children. Son is 58. Gave me grands. They are teenagers. I got a 30-year-old daughter and a 25-year-old daughter. Okay, so I had to say that part because I know the struggle. When we at this age as parents, we have been that age before. And we know the struggle. So this young man was doing great when he came there. You know, he was doing a remote job, but, you know, blah, blah, blah. And like a lot of them are doing, they do remote jobs and do this, do that, do that, do that, do that. So now he's able, he's doing something else. You know, they own their hustle. Just like another content creator said, this young lady that's 38. She said she was broke when she traveled. But when she learned to knock on doors and kind of help, you know, with the language, like doing a little basic teaching to the younger children. You know, you never know when you're meeting people. You knock on doors and you get your hustle on. You got to survive. You do that thing. I have no problem. A lot of seniors, a lot of us, Gen X, it's the same way. And then a lot of us, we tired. Just like y'all. We just want to go and just, I'm going to come back to that. I just want to go and chill if I ever, you know, if I want to do a YouTube or my other, you know, my other platforms, you know, I just do it, you know. But I want to live and relax, you know. You know, we're tired. This is exhausting. So I say this is, I see this in this young man, bless his heart, and he had to end up moving. And so, and I was getting ready to say about traveling insurance. Make sure, you know, you be able to get with some good traveling insurance. I can't think of the name, but I will put it in my community because I went to one of the online one of the content creators workshop. So that's another thing, the workshop of content creators. They speak great because I'll be doing the same thing. But you trying to see what you're going to get out of that. You write your notes, you get what you can, but you don't want to feel like you just paid for information. You want to be able to transform your life. You know, you don't want to go somewhere where people just talking just to be talking. But the one I went to, and you can also replay it, you know, you register because you already paid to hear it. So to go back to listen to it, that's awesome. So, you know, you want to make sure your information is valuable and transform people's lives. You know, some things you could just tell people, but but some people, like I noticed, it's none of your business really what their income is. A lot of people don't want to. I noticed don't want to say. A lot of people don't tell what kind of visa they on either. I noticed that's real personal as well. Well, the visas, some people are on the educational visa, but they got to be there for 6 months. Some people say they learning some things. It all depends on the individual. Some of us Gen X, honey, I know, honey, I got messy study habits. I've been like that all my life. I can do the job, but my study habits for school, I don't even like it. So I know now, I don't know if I could go as a on education, but anyway, so some people's on educational, and I noticed another content creator, a younger lady, said it's just like it's almost like she feel trapped. I'm talking about a younger lady that I heard on her content that she doing the educational ed visa. It's like they have it where she really can't even. She say she can't really learn it. But see, once again, it's our study habits. You got to pay for the school. I think the school is like 500 and something bots, or I mean 500 and some US dollars, but it's so much and so much in bots, you know, in Thailand. And yeah. So it might be her study habits, because I know my study habits, and then some of us as Gen X, if we deal with some kind of mental health challenges and all of that kind of stuff, all of that plays in. But I have a Gen X I've been speaking with, and she feel like she ain't learn it, but she did good with whatever she was saying. Kudos to her. I think it's destiny. I don't mind. I just shout out her name, but yeah. But I'm looking at all of this, all the research, because, like I said, I'm getting my bust the move exit to Tyler. I'm getting my bust the move in my community. Of us just getting ourselves mentally together and making sure that if you all are getting SSI, to be safe of what you're going to do and how long you're going to stay. Keep doing your homework on the SSA. Go on that site because it's out. And many people been traveling off of their SSI for ages. It's just somebody just reported it, I guess. I mean, not just now. I'm talking about they're talking more about it now, because why they're talking about more about it. People leaving the USA. Hell, you can't afford it. It's hard to live here. I sure damn don't want to be have roommates. And I mean, I don't mind living as a minimalist, because I know what it's like to buy and sell homes, and drive a car and a truck and all this stuff. That's just stuff. There's nothing wrong with young people who want to get that. They go to other countries to have things, and so they can start their family. I love, young love, black love, whatever love. It's beautiful. And us as Gen X, our life ain't over either. We can still have new love, young love, whatever, if you want that. But if you just want to be solo and chill, hey, I'm laid back. Ain't no problem with that. That's cool. That's cool. If you're on the replay, we'll live stream and you come back on the replay, welcome. But right now, I'm on the hour, 2:14 p.m. Eastern Time, Carrollton, Georgia. An hour away from Atlanta. This is Paula. Yeah, mental illness is real, but so is God. And we also, Essence Paula, fiction, nonfiction radio. I'm so glad you all here and welcome. I'm just talking about all the different things dealing with aspect, SSI, Gen X, the content creators. So back to the content creators, this young guy, and like I said, people, the visas, I'm sorry, I'm bopping all around, jumping, whatever. The visa, then you got other visas, the DVT and all that. I don't know what it's DTV, I'm not sure. Just do your research. Look at my community. I post different content creators are talking about their experiences. And then there's another visa. But anyway, it's really has really tightened up. And if they ask you, what are you doing here? One of the content creators say you should say, what do you say? You would say, I'm a tourist. That you're a tourist, and you got the content. You also get the visa content creator visa, something like that. Excuse me. So just try to figure out what you're gonna do, what kind of visa you're gonna get when you're getting your passport or renewing your passport. So I got to figure out what kind of visa I would get. Making sure your LLC is updated, because you may get there and sell something dealing with anything of your product, your brand, but you still, whatever, however you get paid. I don't know. That's another thing I put in the community. I don't know if they do Cash App or they do what's that. I don't know how you get paid in the other country. I think a young lady had it where you wire it to yourself. I put all that in my community. You can look now on the community. She was talking of that. And you may get paid, and it may be paid a lot and knock you out the box of SSI. But if you continue, if you're there that a week or 2 or 3 weeks and you get paid like that, baby, go for it. And you just have to let them know. You have to let SSA know, or whoever the SSI know that you made some money. Because they're gonna get it anyway. They're gonna pick up on it, and if you, once you report it, or if you report it, whatever happens, they're gonna see it. It's gonna come down on your money, or they may suspend it. But shoot, you may have the taste of it. You come there, you may have the taste of your brand, whatever you do, or you may be meeting somebody and collaborate with them on something, honey, and that look like that's a door open. Shoot, man, please, you better go. And you may not come back to the United States. And I'm talking about anybody or Gen X on Social Security. Hey, go for it. Everything is just temporary anyway. Live your life. Live your life. Go for it. House sitting. There's black women. They are of Exodus. They always talking about the trust something house sitting, something like that. That's in my community. In my look in my community on my channel. I'm Paula, and I got the S2R right there. I never did the ending. It's just Paula, and then it says S2R. Just look into my community and look down all that stuff. They're talking about, and I go back and get the trust thing, whatever the name of it is, where you can do house sitting. It doesn't pay, but you travel. This for senior citizens and anybody. You take care of their pets. What it is a free exchange, but to be on that site, you have to pay. You pay either annually or whatever, and I think that's a deal. So that's another way for you to travel, and you see something come up, you can put in for it if you're going to be there for a week, or they need somebody for a week, and you look after their animal. I understand you could choose. But you do go through a background check, I understand, and references, something like that. Now, I don't want dogs. I don't do stuff like that. I said I would give it a try. I don't know. But this is stuff that you researching and doing before you bust a move exit Gen X, going out the country, And I understand also once you start making money out the country and you're a citizen of the U.S., you got to pay taxes too. Do your research. Because remember, this is Essence Paula, Fiction, Nonfiction Radio. I'm just speaking on what I research on other content creators, what they're saying. But please, and Google. Do your research. Get your plan together. Get your bust a move exit. Mine is bust a move exit to Thailand. Get it together. But I'm saying it over and over. I can't say it enough. Make sure you got your cushion. Make sure things in order. Make sure you get permission. If Gen X, if you have SSI or whatever, disability, whatever, you want to be safe and careful. Because who knows? Like I said, you can go there and you may get $200,000 US, the way it is in US, but it could be uh whatever in billions. It could be whatever in bots. Man, you are set. I'm speaking facts. I'm spitting out gems. I'm speaking facts. You get that. I don't care what I'm speaking that whatever your gift is, you collaborate with somebody and you get 200,000 like US, like it's like in US dollars. You know, I did a video of that, speaking that manifestation, that you've done an event and you got 200,000, a check for $200,000. That's manifestation. And knowing that you've done all you can and you doing right by God. Because see, God ain't gonna bless you in no mess. Okay. So, like I said, this ain't for everybody. But yeah. So I'm coming back to the young man that is the content creator. So, but that visa, it seems real personable. People not saying, a lot of them not saying what kind of visa it is. Some saying, some not. And then some people trying to figure out, well, what do you do? How do you make a living? How are you paying for it? You know, and I noticed one interview of a young man. A lot of them are interviewing, but you know, it seemed a little quiet until they pull it out in the interview. Say, well, what are you doing? You know, and it's great interviews that they do. It's in my community. My community is I'm sorry, it's Watch My Smoke movement. That part is not sweeping no more mental health issues under the rug. And I help people with their mental health, you know, through these videos and other platforms I'm on. You know, I'm on TikTok and stuff, but I don't. I'm fed up with them. Every time I decide to just get off, it says, "Oh, okay. Well, you approve to, you know, do whatever program is supposed to be in." And I say, you wait till I leave and then come back a week or two later and say, you know, because I was trying to get some things done on TikTok. And the name of it is Girl By. My TikTok is Girl By 051. And the other one is Watch My Smoke Movement. And I do a live on that one, Watch My Smoke Movement. But I'm breaking from that right now. Then I have another platform, and then I work with my eBay, with my sketches, my art. You know, of course, you know, I got my book, my sketchbook, that, you know, help you not to overthink. Okay. They're like coffee chat books, but they help you not to overthink. And that'll be a blessing. I appreciate you if you know, would like to order a book from it's self-publishing authorhouse.com. But anyway, so what if you get over there and you make this amount of money? Forget all the other stuff, the SSI job. If you can get if you you know, hey, so that's what I like about this young man. He's over there and he's doing what he's doing as a content creator in Thailand. They got Manchai or Chennai or something like that. I'm sorry that I can't pronounce it. But anyway, so I'm speaking to certain groups of us. It's not for everybody, but I'm really focusing on the Gen X, about the SSI. You know, like I said, I can't tell my story right now. That's another video about mine. But I'm speaking on my research and everything, and talking about with SSI, because a lot of you know, Gen X, the seniors, you know, are traveling with just with the SSI. Now that's is really strange because if you get and I use my mom for an example because at the time, rest in peace, years ago, back in the 80s, she was only getting $750 and $122, I think, in Social Security. And like I said, all of this is our money, what we've worked. I'm speaking of GENX, all our lives, what we work. For me, I've worked ever since I was 16, like I said before. So anyway, and then it became part-time off and on when I got diagnosed. Okay. Some people that just got retirement, like from their jobs or whatever, they getting more money. There's probably like 1,900 or 1,800. I don't know. So it's more like they can afford to travel, you know, other than what somebody have SSI now. It's this SSI now in 2026. I think they've gone up 900 or something, from 750 to 900 or whatever it is. But what if your rent and you're not on a voucher? You don't have no voucher as a senior citizen. What if your rent is, $800? You pay your rent with your Social Security, and then you got to pay your lights, and you got other stuff. So you can't even afford to travel unless somebody is sponsoring it, that you going with a family member or a friend is paying for it, like what happened with me. I'm still waiting on some things, but I'm just saying someone took me to St. Martin. That's another video. But I've said it in the other video, what I experienced and everything. So, but yeah, but if you getting, but if you're somebody that, that's your retirement check, and plus you getting your Social Security together, they're trying to tell you what to do and where you can go with that. That's what's going on with the man now that is in government, that's in office. And I'm going to say it, but when Barack Obama was in office, everybody was loving each other. The rednecks, everybody was loving on everybody. But every time I notice when this person get in office, and I'm not fit to be in no politics, I ain't no politics person, everybody separates. Everybody. But everyone separates. The racism come out even more. It's so divided. The hate, everything. Now you can't afford to keep a roof over your head, and then he want to mess with the homeless people. It's some people now just doing it to make content. The RV thing. There's another content creator. This girl left a beautiful brand new house and is in a brand new whatever it is, an RV, and doing the van life. That's making content. Now there's some people that actually live in their cars and they look like it and they doing content. That's real. When I was in my Silverado truck for 3 years off and on, I didn't tell family. I didn't tell. When that children did find out, they did whatever did to help, whatever. But I could stay with anybody, and I did stay with a lady. But that her and her husband, no, it was abusive, marriage, and that's how I met her, in a transition home where she left him and then went back for the umpteenth times, and she was in her 60s then. That was 3 years ago. And so I just, I never thought of putting it on YouTube. And I was looking at YouTube, watching YouTube for motivation, but that was my time with God. God didn't even allow me to make content during those 3 years I was living in my truck. He sure didn't. Because that time, and I would talk to him that was timing. I was in there talking to him and being with him. Seriously. Seriously. So now God tells me to go on here and talk as long as I want. I used to just do shorts. So people that have short tensions, I get it. You want to look at the little whatever, a little music, then a little motivation or whatever, 5, 10 minutes, some is 15 minutes, some 20. But I'm just going there as long as God tell me to go. And that's in the day of the week. Every day he got me going on here. And sometimes it's 3 o'clock in the morning, get up to pray and whatever. I used to, normally would do a prayer. But see, all of this is not routine. I'll never be routine. God don't have me to move like that. And plus, I just never moved like that. I can't stand a routine. Excuse me. And I guess that's why, things, whatever don't pop off the way it would to be monetized. I don't know. But God is still taking care of me, just like He's taking care of you. Some people just don't, like I said, they don't feel like I seen some content creators, the GENX. I seen them, honey. I seen them 1 month for a couple times, and shoot, now I hadn't seen them in about 3 months or so. I'm talking about some other people, men and women that I was checking out on YouTube, And then when I first started and really, was trying to really just do something a year ago or so, then I see some people just haven't been back, you know. But yeah, so this young man is like he had to move, like he's having a little hard time. And he was interviewing, and like I said, there's several of them that's interviewing. He was interviewing, and the cameraman was trying to holler at this lady. She was in her 60s something, and he was like in his 30s, and he up there trying to holler at her. He done put the camera down and got between him and the other guy. He said, "Well, you like to get together, have coffee or something?" She said, "I thought y'all, just like the passport brothers. I mean, you know, the men with the passports. They supposed to be going to the Now that's another video. They supposed to be going and getting them a wife and finding out the Asian woman, and they some beautiful Asian girls, but what you see. There's another content creator. He went down that street in Asia. He said, "There ain't nothing like going out here," and they were just grabbing on them. Then you know what that is. Talking about everybody should go down that street, a part of Asia. Man, what the hell? I know I ain't going. Ain't nothing down there for me. Please. And I could tell and that's between him, But he's another young man I like to watch, content creator, because he talks about chosen ones and everything, and he be right on point. But honey, he done got down there in Asia with those Asian women and done got him some, baby. And I could tell, because boy, it's the way he really got out of his alignment. He sure did. He pitched a fit on the on his channel and stuff. So I said, I know he got him some, because whatever that lady, I don't care whoever you with, whatever is on them, Jezebel spirit, that's all that's another thing I was gonna talk about. That Jezebel spirit is gonna jump if you not covered by the blood of Jesus and you sleeping with no. That go for man and woman. You sleep with this person and and you acting like that. I said, man, he got him some, but his other friend that came with him, his partner, he was still real cool and stuff and talking about the Lord. They got that great of it. Honey, I don't care. You can call me a consumer all you want to. I'm going to look at, I love YouTube because I don't want no TV. I don't have a TV. I don't have none. I live like a minimalist in my, you know, I done had all this stuff. I just want my inner peace. I want to just be with me and me only, you know. Yeah. Because, like you said, it's sad in certain cities you live in and wherever you go, even in Atlanta, you got to have a weapon. No, I ain't never had a weapon. I ain't gonna never have one either. God is my weapon. I just know better. You know, in the United States, hell, before it get dark, your butt need to be in the house. That's all to it. Just like I will when you were younger growing up. You make sure you be in the house before it get dark. Hell, you know, you ain't got to tell me twice, not here. You know, because Atlanta is my home. And the only time I got to go in there, and I dread it. But not to see my children, but I just can't stand the darkness to go into Atlanta. But my children are there. My grown children, my grandchildren, teenagers. My son, third child is 6. So, but his other two was his past marriage. You know, that's another video. But honey, don't nobody want to live nowhere. You got to have a weapon. Shit. When I was in my truck, I used to carry a bat around. I got some bats so my daughter and them can have it in their car. But then come to find out with the law, if you gonna have a bat in your vehicle, you got to have a baseball glove, as if you play sports. Because you get stopped by the police and you have a bat and they see a bat, then of course automatically that's a weapon, like you would go bust out. And I never knew it like that. So that's a germ I like to throw out to you. But I know a bat can't stop a bullet, but I just never put myself in those situations. And I've been in the crossfire. I could have been dead a long time ago. But God, I still got a purpose. So God still got his hands on me. I can't help where I grew up at, from Bankhead, but my grandparents' house they had a big red brick home, the only stayed in the projects, 2 years with my son when he was 1, single parent, getting out there and doing work, working with the city of Atlanta, in construction. I had to do what I had to do, single parent. So I know what it's like. And it's just, oh boy, Atlanta, Lord have mercy. That's all I can say. I just plead the blood of Jesus over because my family. But yeah, so the young man, back to the young man, he's struggling. I could tell. Bless his heart. So he's in another place I see in Thailand, and I could tell he's having a little hard time. But anyway, yeah. So he had this interview with the 60-year-old lady and stuff, and she looked good, very nice for her age. She could go for 40s and stuff, but she just wanted to just come there, and her children, they'll eventually, grown children will join her, but they've been there before, and she just wanted to do her thing. And she said she was going to start a YouTube. A lot of others said that too. Some still doing a YouTube, and I connected with her to see with her Instagram and her YouTube, but she ain't did nothing really with it. Especially Instagram, just 3 things. She was visiting some places in Thailand, but right now that lady trying to live and enjoy her life. She ain't still no YouTube. I mean, because see, a lot of us as Gen X already have income, and some of us still waiting on some things, and so it just seems like I coming on back to the expat, it's good to have a supportive group and get close with. Because sometimes, like he said, he needs somewhere to, at the time when he first came there, he needed somewhere to lay his head. So he was already cool with some people. And then, in return, they also needed him. But I I wouldn't know, but I could just feel in the spirit that he's really struggling, and I hadn't seen her anymore. And it almost seemed like it was chemistry there, but she said, no, she said she has an age limit, you know. And what I'm getting to is, you know, I know back in the 80s and the 90s, you could get with people and be friends, or you can adopt them like they're your own child, son, or daughter, or whatever. And whenever they in need, it's just like how your normal children are, your regular, children that you've birthed into the world, that like they need help, you're there for them. And a lot of times they're called God mom, God dads, but that lady, I could tell, I don't know if she helped him with anything, because, like I said, he hurt himself. That's why I say it's so good that you got to have your traveling insurance now. He hurt himself playing some sport, and a young man, I noticed in his interview, he said, "Shoot, you got to make sure you got to have that money," you know. And you can see it. Even a blind man can see he's struggling. Bless his heart. But I don't know if that lady, they seem like in the video they hit off so cool. Cause like I said, I got several of them that interview now. Cause one guy, he got his own house and his moped, or whatever you want to call it. He's doing really great. So, but it's another young man that, you know, uh, now the one in Chimay or whatever, he's doing really great. He got him a house. Okay. But I'm talking about another young man that is with the condos and stuff. He's I don't know if she helped, if he asked for help, but it's the way things are now, you know, people are funny now. So what I'm trying to say is have your shit together before you get out, out the country. I know you take a chance, do what you got to do, but as Gen X's, especially us, and it's a blessing. You can meet other people, and they will help you out there. This, it is scary, but you do it scared. You know, I'm just, I'm just saying, I'm just there to talk about this. What the research is heavy. Um, I've been out there. I know what it's like to live in my vehicle for 3 years. So it's kind of hard for me to go out there and take that chance again. Now, if you can feel me where I'm coming from in my mind, especially as a Gen X, I don't feel like and plus I have let my vehicles go. I don't feel like going through that. I gotta make sure I got my shit together. Make sure I got my cushion in order before I go out anywhere. Because every time you step your foot out the door, you spending money. Okay. So I'm just saying, you all, as a Gen X, you taking chances is good. Go out there, go do, but make sure you got your cushion that you're gonna have a roof over your head. Because I mean, hey, it's a lot of people. I know someone right now, 70 years old, 70, that is homeless. 70. Welcome back. Welcome. Please like, subscribe, um, share. This don't cost you nothing. Hit the notification button. We're on the hour of 2:46 p.m. Eastern time. in Georgia, in the USA. I'm Paula, and this is Essence Paula, Fiction Nonfiction Radio. So, yeah, I'm telling you, honey, um, God got you, yeah. But I just can't see myself mentally just taking off like this, not at my age, not with my back like this and dealing with my mental health. I mean, I have to stay in control to not let things trigger me. But if I do get triggered, it's like I feel like my blood pressure, the blood will go all the way up to the top of my head. And I have to calm myself down. It's a very exhausting feeling. It's not like I'm going to do anything or attack or whatever, but I just have to, I am aware of what's going on. Some people are not aware of what's happening with them when things happen, when they get triggered. But living with bipolar 2 disorder, detoxing from the meds and everything. Yeah, I'm still aware, thank God, of what's going on. Because it just happened to me a couple of days ago, and I always say it ain't nothing but a spirit that attacks. But yeah, that happened to me when they was doing this inspection for our building, senior living, here in Georgia. And I got triggered for a moment then, um, it was just a simple thing is I left my door unlocked because I heard them coming. You could hear them walking, going down the hallway because they were doing other people. And when they came to my door, I had already had it unlocked. And by me having arthritis in my hands and stuff, I can't button and snap my fingers and stuff. So I didn't want to hold the door. I didn't want to hold that heavy door. I can't hold heavy things in my hands. So I just left the door unlocked for them to come on in. Whether I'm here or not, they could have came in. But the only thing I said was, come in. I said, you can come on in. And they were just still standing there. And I was already on the phone because I was talking about some business about my phone and everything. And I had to scream out. I know that lady thought I was crazy. I said, come on in. And, they came in, looking all around. And, I didn't know what you saying, And all this stuff, and they came in, did what they had to do in 3 minutes or less. And just that quick, it just kind of, like, what the hell? I mean, how many times I got to say it for them to come in? What can you not, and it kind of triggered me. Just something simple and stupid like that. You right at the door. You just knocked at the door. So people, we have to be careful of simple things, little things. And so I'm aware of what's going on. So, and when I say because of this happening is because of this particular person that works there, maintenance person, and he carrying a very demonic spirit that has already came against me. So it wanted to throw me off. And it did for a moment. When he came in, I didn't even see him come in with the rest of the guys because I was on the phone. And then I looked as they was leaving because we normally say hi. I said, hey. I said, is that it? He said, yeah. I said, how you doing? You okay? Yeah, just fine, And I said, okay. So I was still on the phone. So it was a spirit that was in this man that worked there. And it attacked me some months ago about my truck. And so that's another video. And so I had to keep calm myself because I was already going through some stuff dealing with my phone, trying to work with my phone. And that was already happening. And then to know that he was coming that has this crazy spirit. So that the rest of the day was thrown off of me. And when we get like that, I don't care who you are, but senior citizen or anybody dealing with mental health challenges or mental illness, it's just like your mom used to tell you, go take a nap. Take a nap. And I had to find my way. I had to kind of calm myself down. And I tried to take a nap. But I laid down for a moment and then I got back up and I was praying and praying. Because when God is doing stuff in your life, transforming things, that's a way to let you know when an enemy work through people. It just does stuff. It could be through anybody. God has already worked out situations that, you already or in alignment in, but the enemy thinks it has power and want to distract you. Okay. So this is the third time a bird came to my window. And it's raining. I got my window cracked. I'm always cracking it during the day, in the morning when I get up, and let it stay cracked all day. Even though it's winter, let air come in because it helps my anxiety and everything. So, but yeah, um, so sometimes it just wear and tear on us. It's just like with my teeth shifting and my face, is like my feature. You know how your face as an older woman, I can see my mother, how it's dropping. And I just saw on YouTube last night where they're going to Atlanta and again these face alignments and lift and bust lift and all. And it ain't nothing wrong with that. I just pray that I keep working out to keep my health up and uh to lose my weight, bring my weight down, look and work and keep working on my eating, on what I eat, my lifestyle. Because it's your lifestyle is gonna really be different. You can't bring your United States where you live. You can't bring what you do, how you act to another part of the world. Cause honey, them popos, they don't play. As if I understand that even doing the visa runs that somebody got, a content creator got on the YouTube boasting about how they was getting by with something. That's crazy. When certain stuff is when you have favor on you, that's not for you to share it with everybody because it's not meant for everybody. It only take one person, one bad apple to spoil the whole thing. When you are favored and blessed, don't try to take that and do other things with it or sell the gem, the idea of it. Don't try to sell. That's just favor that God has upon you. Yeah, so I'm telling you, it's no joke. You living out the country and you running out of, you got to, you know, you stay on your grind. And I admire that about that young man staying on his grind because you can get there, as I understand, US dollars. You make more out the country, especially in Thailand. So, you know, you charge $100 US, then it could be more money for you uh, to take care of yourself in another country. You know, one lady for her workshop, I noticed. We was in that workshop and it looked like it was about 20 or 30 people in there, and then what she charged, and people gonna be counting folks' pockets. I think she charged like 90 something dollars per person. You add that up. I think in US dollars that was like 3,000 or something, I guess. But in bots of Thailand or whatever, that was, you know, 43,000 something. I mean, you could live. I understand in Vietnam and Thailand, you can live like kings and queens. But as a tourist, enjoy yourself because you're going back home. But when you get to go there to live, you're gonna have to be very frugal. Frugal. You're gonna have to really be like a minimalist. You're gonna have to, I mean, if you got the money to do that, fine. Live like whoever. You can live. You can live real large, but to get in there, humble yourself. You know, you don't need all that. So like I said, black folks, you know how we are. We got to go, and when we get there, we think we can jump right into having a status. One content creator said, "Oh, she like that lady following me. She must know who I am and all that." Oh, folks ain't studying you, and they don't. Just it was one of these little content creators, little young guy. Ain't nobody study. Don't unless you in the aspect group. But he was thinking this white lady was following him on her phone. See, she must be filming me. That lady must have been a content creator herself. That lady was trying to. She probably was saying the same thing about you. She was trying to get away from you. Yeah, I can't believe, but sometimes it comes out who we really are. When we show you who we are for the first time, believe it. And like I said, I'm not saying any name because I love I love their contents. It's amazing. Everybody's not gonna like you. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's not, like I said, my content is not for everybody. They don't like, everybody's not gonna like my content. And that's fine. And you keep trusting and believing in God, He's gonna take care of you. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to do. And God and therapy, and then God and you first. Oh man, come on. God and you need your self-care. You need to take care of you. Boy, I tell you, but I appreciate it. You listen to my replay. You can comment, share, like, subscribe, hit my notification buttons. Like I said, my main thing of radio is the Essence Paula Fiction Fiction Radio, and up under that, this is in my head, my podcast, Girl by Podcast, and the Watch My Smoke movement. I'm serious about it now. So, because a lot of times people think podcast is you seeing folks on with a mic and excuse me, because this is raw, unedited, and uncut. So, excuse me. And so, honey, I'm sitting at my little card table here, just a little table I use in my senior living. That's my podcast, no face. And sometimes podcasts be face. I'm describing this because use what you got. Because radio is my first love, and I've been in radio, gospel radio, actually sitting in the radio, station, doing this over 10 years ago. So with my second husband, he was one of the producers. So I understand, I know what I'm talking about. It's just I use what I got. That's all. I use what I got. And another thing, y'all be careful. Of course you got to I understand it's good to keep cash on you. And if you're gonna use cash in some countries or Thailand, I understand, make sure it's crispy. Make sure it's new money. You get out the ATM. Or if you have the old money cash, maybe you can exchange it with another aspect. You see, I've been doing my research, okay? And so, but you also have the cash, on you of their money. and everything. And but this was another thing I want to say on the spiritual side of money. Stay prayed up. Yes, have a relationship with money, but when you put that money and that money comes in your hand, money carry all kind of different spirits on it as well. Stay prayed up, because I notice every time um I had some USA cash money in my hand or whatever. I don't know what kind of spirits was on it, but it always carried, it picked up uh, uh well, the spirit of lust. Now I already was dealing with that, the spirit of lust. But thank God I'm delivered. But I felt it when I had it in my hands not too long ago. Because everything you use the card, right? I don't like to try to keep cash on hand. But when you do have it in your hand, because you want to be able to feel money, because everything is always in a card and is always this and that, currency. But just be careful, because I realize money carries spirits, and that's the most worst thing it does carry is lust. Ain't no telling what that money went through, transaction it took to for that money to be in somebody else's hand before it got to yours. You don't know what kind of transaction it was. And not to throw shade or whatever, but it is what it is. Excuse me. And but I'm so grateful for you all to support and to comment and like, subscribe, and all of that. Just blessing, be a blessing. Buy me coffee or whatever, tea or water. It's a blessing. And that's another thing of water. Man, going through this detox and this healing journey, that's water is so powerful. So powerful. You know, it is so powerful. But welcome back. I'm Paula. And we're just hitting on different things of the part of my community. I always post in that community of this channel, and I got another community. Both communities is one is Watch My Smoke movement. No longer, no longer put mental health challenges up under the rug. And then the other community, we bust a move, exit to Thailand. We just, even as Gen X, I'm 59, born in 1966. You know, we're just making sure everything is in order, making sure that your cushion is together, your money is together. You know, so let's see. I wrote down and had a lot of topics to kind of talk about, um, talking about, everybody don't like you, and, we're talking about gratitude and aspects and travel and Gen X and content creator and visa. Being sick, you got to please stay prepared when you get sick, and keep that traveling insurance, which I can't think of the name of. When I found out the name of the traveling insurance, I put it in my community. But like I said, a young man, one of the aspects that content creators, you never know, you're playing sports, you get hurt, so that throws you out, and then that can mess up your money, anything. It's hard to find somebody to help you, but thank God you do have people that will help you. So like I said again, he had to move and everything. Like I said, as a Gen X, y'all don't try to compete. with nobody, and that goes for everybody. But Gen X, you know, just enjoy, do you, do your YouTube whenever you want, whatever. Um, we can't get back into this metric. We can't leave the United States of a metric and come into another metric out the country, like trying to have status and have this and this person. So, oh, he got a house, I go get me a house, and if he got this motorcycle, I go get me a motorcycle. You don't need all of that. I mean, come on. Let's let's be what they call it, frugal or whatever, but mainly being a minimalist. you know, you put yourself on a budget, buy your food, put it in your refrigerator. I understand the 7-Eleven always have water and stuff, but sometimes, if you're in a condo and it's a plaza, that I understand out the country, they got those machines for your water and everything, you know, the washer and dryer. That's another thing. A lot of them come with washers and you hang out your clothes, and a lot of things you got to, when you do number two in the bathroom of chain my, I think they have a little thing that you wash yourself off, and then when you wipe yourself, it goes in the trash, and then taking out the trash. These are little things that you got to make note of what you can live with and what not, because you got to be open-minded. I have really done my research. Google, listen to the people. And you get into the aspect groups, that's fine. If you don't want to roll with them, that's fine. Because I know that a lot of people, Gen X, they don't too much. It just seems like there's a lot of people just solo, and then the couples are solo together. I'm watching a couple as well. Some of them don't care to get into the groups, and I heard one. As I was doing my research, one of the content creators, they were saying, um, I mean, even in another country, and you part of an aspect group in another country, the lady said it could be some drama in those aspect groups. Okay, some drama, and I pretty much figured that. I felt that. I really did. You know, and I heard another content creator said that too, and they mainly be in their 40s and 50s that says this. It's a little drama. Everybody carrying there. I'm not saying it was this age of people and this age of people, because anybody can be toxic. Okay, so you don't come all the way across the world leaving one toxic situation into another. That don't make no damn sense. Okay, so yeah, so I'm talking about being sick. A lot of us don't feel like being bothered. You don't have to get out and take pictures and be walking all around. Gen X, if you have a problem like me walking all around. And one lady named Stephanie is in the group. She said, I'm lazy, honey. I just get to the house and just stay, because she does house sitting. And that's cool, you know. And because some people just don't feel like they don't walk like that anymore. And it's cool. I know one lady told me one time, she said, yeah, well, you don't just travel there and don't do nothing, or go out and see it, just say you've been there. Well, to each his own. I met a lady in the elevator when I was in St. Martin. She said, I came here, but I can't do nothing. It's a white older lady. And I said, I understand, I get it. She can't hang with her family, go out with them like she used to. That lady had health issues. Her children, she came with her family, but she couldn't go with the family wherever they were going. I guess most likely it was like getting on boats, doing all the other stuff, and a lot of us, like I wouldn't even chance that, getting on those things that you ride across that water like that. No, I just not with no. Now, if it is a big yacht or ship, big, like you say on a cruise, that's different, But yeah, so I didn't say nothing. I couldn't say nothing because I felt I understood. It's just like when I was in St. Martin with the girl, it was her birthday for the whole week. Like I said, she sponsored the trip, But I have that's another video because of we clashed, and because of some things of both of us. When you get in your 50s, you set in your ways about something, and especially when somebody, and that's another thing, when you can't embrace that you're getting older, and you embrace your hair, your grayness, and all of that. I ran across a lot of people in my age range cannot embrace them getting older. They always think they would never. They know they're gonna get old, but they can't accept it. That's the kind of person I was with, and it was really a blessing for her to take me, because I was already ready. And what I mean ready is I already had my passport, and God blessed her to do a lot of many things for me. But when you have, but you have to be careful about what people that has a Jezebel spirit. When folks, different people bless you, that's another thing. You have to be careful when they bless you. They think just because of their money, you owe them some kind of, like, it's like you cannot allow nobody or anybody distract you or tear you down. In her spirit, I noticed it was a Jezebel spirit, because she said things, and it was like trying to tear me down or to try to intimidate me, because I knew when she didn't have money. And then when I had money, she wouldn't allow herself, she wouldn't meet up with me, because she was so envious, of that I had something at the time, and we had lost contact of each other years. We met going through a transitional home. I ended up getting married out the transition home, everything. But I realized she has everything else, and she controls everything else, but she always looking for some man, and that it's a Jezebel spirit, and that's another video. Because even I had to get delivered from a Jezebel spirit. I tell you, it's a lot. Okay, so I spoke of two groups, these Exodus and this other young lady. Like I said, they do workshops. They teach about living abroad. Um, Glow and Stephanie, Exodus, and then just talking about prices. Um, mm, it's. I want to come back and talk about more children and healing later. But I talked about most of everything I had just put in the what I was going to talk about, and wrote down as well. And like I said, your income, your whatever. I notice that's really personal along with a lot of people. The visas, make sure the type of visa that you really want. Because see, I was going to go through the education visa, but I said no, that's not going to fit me, because there's some things I'm working with, and so yeah. Yeah, but that's bitch much mentally with Tyler, and the way they kind of tighten things up like that. I got to see the length that I will be there, and either I'm gonna house sit and accommodates you paying. You know what I'm saying? Airbnb, I understand, is pretty good, and the hotel. Now, what this is what I learned from this person. Like, if you be a Hilton owner, now this is somebody that is dealing with money. Like, I think at least about 10,000. If you pay that and pay it in different monthly fees, you're part you're sort of like 1% owner. You could look it up, Google it, Hilton owner. It's like a timeshare. You know how they used to do the timeshare that always send it through your mail? I didn't know what that was about long time ago, but now I see. And it's a timeshare where you could, you pay certain amount a month or whatever you pay, and it allows you to stay in this particular place, or especially with the Hilton, you can stay at any Hilton and wherever you travel over the country and stuff. And I think that's a great idea. But those other timeshares back in the day, they were hard to resell. So I think they're fading on out. But that's really cool because then you don't have to worry about getting no condo, worrying about the lights and gas and all that stuff to go with it, with the condo and what else. But see, that's another status person with money type deal. And it all depends on what they looking at monthly, you know. And it works out either way. That's real cool. But I noticed no maid. I noticed we had to keep asking for towers. That's the thing I didn't like in St. Martin. And when we went to go wash our clothes, it was in an area. It was very shady looking, back in the corner. So I didn't like that, especially going at night, washing and drying clothes. I had to always. Oh boy, my energy, I was drained and mentally exhausted in St. Martin. Like I said, I had some personal things that was already going on, and it didn't help it make it no better. So if you running from something in the USA other than not, able to pay the bills, the rent, or whatever the situation is, if you don't resolve it or deal with it internally or whatever is going on, it's going to follow you out the country as well. So that right there, I really couldn't get enjoy myself and just lay back and relax like I really wanted to. But like I said, it was a blessing to be there, and I really wouldn't too much wouldn't care to go. I would rather travel solo. I'm the type of person, I got very funny ways. I'm funny about where I sleep. I'm funny about my bathroom. And I don't know, I'm thinking about the house sitting, to accommodate, when you travel, you don't have to worry about paying anything, but just pay, what do you say, annually on there. That's real cool. But I'm funny about people houses, going to different houses, and I'm funny about staying at a hotel and all that, because as an intercessor, and people, they can relate, the intercessors and the prayer warriors and the chosen ones, type, where you in that third, you're in that spiritual realm. You are so open and see things. I mean, you go deep. It's crazy. And you can pick up on different spirits and people houses. You can just pick up things through just anywhere you go. Hotel, and I'm gonna tell you, I went to LA about 8 years ago to do a book promoting, and it was my children first time flying to LA to fly. I wanted to give that to them, my daughters. Um, my mom did that for me. And with Delta Airlines, we went there 5 hours there and 4 hours coming back. And we stayed at the hotel, and I couldn't wait to get out of California, LA, because I felt like I was gonna run out of money. That was so scary. I mean, $50 or so or more, or whatever it is, for this cab driver to take me around, and he was looking for a big ass tip. He just, oh my God, girl, honey. And when I couldn't sleep in the hotel, I really couldn't sleep in that motel. I couldn't sleep because I saw spirits going in and out the door. And if I tell my daughter that, my 30-year-old, she's like, Mama, are you? She done thought I done lost my mind. You just can't talk. You can't tell a lot of this stuff to people. Everybody don't get it. Welcome. I'm Paula. This is Essence Paula, um, fiction, nonfiction radio. Like, subscribe, add, Yeah. She was like, Mom, I kept seeing something that it was a white, had on white. And like they were just playing all around the door, just in and out, in and out. And I really picked up that somebody was unalived in that room. That's what I really picked up. I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep. No lie. So that's another video. Anyway, I have been on here past 2 hours or something live. I am so grateful and I am enjoying when God is in it. I'm telling you the truth. Give it to God. Give it to Him. Move out the way. Go take a nap. We are in that waiting mode. And I'm talking about literally. It's already here. Take a nap. Give it to God. Come on, Gen X, everything that we are going through that is not fair. I mean, to everybody in general. But what we are going through as seniors, as Gen X, with the SSI and everything. And I mean, it's everything is a mess. It is. With everything that is going on to everybody and with everybody, and this is so funny how a lot of people from other countries and how he ran out the Mexicans and building a wall and bridge. Here it is. We as the citizens got to leave and go to other countries. Well, the other countries would, they had to come to America to survive. And here we are leaving America to survive. Now, if that don't tell you anything, just like I said, don't get over there and talk about because everybody in America can't leave. You might as well destroy the whole USA. And there's someone brought to me, and I never thought about it. And you see it in the spirit realm. USA is the youngest country there is. What is it? 400 years? Whatever it is, 500. I don't know. But the other countries are the oldest. You see, it's amazing. It's amazing. You all, I pray, and I know that you all, it's all in the mindset. What you're thinking, as you hear my voice, and the way you've heard my voice all through this podcast, is blessing you right now, and is also delivering you, and is also transforming your life. I'm not taking nothing from you. It's blessing you. Remember, salvation is free, but to be anointed, you have to pay a price. You have to sacrifice a lot of stuff. And that's what a lot of people are doing. God is relocating people and having you to leave stuff and sacrifice things to go to another country. I ain't talking about no Illuminati, whatever, sacrificing that kind of thing. Jesus, God sacrificed had his only begotten son to come here and die for our sins. We have sacrificed something. We all have paid a price. We are anointed to something, but you got to know your place. You got to know your purpose, your place. Just like all these different animals and bugs and all this stuff that we don't approve of and stuff. They got a purpose here. They're here in each city, country, county. For some reason, it's some purpose. It's just like the rats. They've been here ever since BC, paying taxes ever since BC. Yeah, we can all make a bucket list. Our bucket list is so different before we die. You want to see some country or whatever. And some of us have seen it all. They just want to live. Some people is living it really beautifully at the age of 80, 90, 100. They're rich in spirit and rich. Some people just got all the money, as they say, got more money than Jesus. But they don't have no peace. It's just, I don't know. But we all need God and therapy. All of this we do, whether you see it or not. You people, when they lose loved one and grieving, they bury themselves into what? Working and whatever. That's therapy, whatever. We all need therapy from something of this. We all are worthy. We all are worthy. A lot of y'all has gone to church and listened to a preacher. But did you read the Bible yourself and see what it was saying? Now, you may not know what he was saying in the scripture, but you might have hit another scripture that God talked to you about. It's so important to read the word. Lord have mercy. It ain't for everybody because, like I say, Jesus couldn't save everybody. Jesus saved the ones that wanted to be saved. It's a choice that you make. Some people are already living in hell, in heaven, right here on her earth. It's heaven and hell right now here on earth. And as you hear those content creators say when they in the other countries say, "Oh, wow, this is so peaceful. It's so different. I don't want to go back." That's another thing, a gem I want to lead to the Gen X's, because a lot of people are stepping out and on faith, and they're doing what they got to do to make it in the other countries, and they're not coming back. Same way with the Gen X. When it's time for you to go, pack your house, pack whatever, pack like you're never coming back. I'm saying, even whatever you leave, you have to sacrifice. Because you may step out, God may speak to you when you step into that country and say, this is where you're supposed to be, where you living right here. To speak to this person, to say this person like anything. And God may tell you not to come back. You may not. A lot of people went there and said, well, I don't never want to come back. But I know I got to come back because I got to do this, and then go back. Some people got to come back to the U.S., finish up, wrap up, whatever they got to do, and then go back. And some people got to go see and check out. And some people just got to just go and just don't go back, already plan not to go back. So some of us, we got to figure out, and even budget-wise, what are you going to do with the rest of this stuff? Start going through stuff now. God said, Pat, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Get ready. Get ready. And don't tell nobody. Now, I know some Gen X that, your health wise, it's on you, between you and God. I had a friend, her mom they were from New York, and I've known them for a while, but she's in a group home. But her mom grew up schizophrenic, and that's another story, because mental illness is in their family as well. And they used to have to, mom would walk and talk to herself, but she was working, but she would be talking to herself. She said, Mom, you talk to yourself, And she decided to leave. They were grown. And her mom was going to call herself, I guess it was sometime in the 80s. I don't know. But she called herself going to another city and was homeless. And they went and they had to get her. She said she was homeless in another city. I mean, I don't know what she was trying to accomplish, but it could have been her mind. But thank God we're in our right mind, and make sure you, you know, because a lot of times we can move off of emotions, or if we're dealing with mental health challenge and diagnosed with mental, like bipolar too, and whatever, how we, you know, we it's you got to make sure they ain't your mind or your emotions are talking to you. But that's between you and God. Do you live your life? You are worthy. I don't care what you look like, what status you hold, who you are, who you some kin to, who what. I don't care. In my community, bust a move exit to Thailand. Gen X's is for just the Gen X's who's dealing with health problems. You can get there and make enough or have enough to pay cash for your health. There's a young man looking in my community. He was talking about the hospital that does discount, is a discount on the package deals in Thailand, the hospital he was at. Look on my community um, page thing right there in my YouTube channel. Paula S2R. He did a full checkup, and I think it was like 23,000 bahts. So if you put it in your calculator, it'll tell how much in USA, and then but his bill was actually 13,000 bahts. So, but whatever was going on with him, he just did a checkup, and whatever it was, that's his business. He don't have to tell what his health is. So look on my community. He's from Chiang Mai, and he's very smart young man. He went and got a house. It's a big house too. And then he did have to have his little motor scooter, whatever they call it, transportation. Because when you're in a house, you can get the Grab. They say they got some stuff like the Uber called the Grab and everything. And what else? I learned from another content creator. This young lady is real good. She said, even with the Grab, like it's like a Uber or whatever, they even have a helicopter. So just, I appreciate y'all listening, and, take notes and catch some of the gems I'm throwing in and research it. And just ask Google, do they have helicopter grabs in Thailand or something like that? I just thought of that. You may want to, go for a helicopter ride. But you got to look at your budget now. Like I said, your cushion. Look at your budget. Because I noticed when you get there and you don't cook and you order out all the time, because if you be a local and just eat the local food, you can get food that, at least about $3, and get about two of them, and it'll last a couple of days. This also, make sure when you get food to eat there, is real hot. It's real spicy, rather. I understand. It's real spicy. So I heard one content creator say no pet, NOPET, no pet. That means no spicy, whatever that is. And people will take that and run with it because they already believe that they cooking cats and dogs and all that stuff. But anyway, they have Thai here in America. And I ate Thai one time. My 30-year-old took me there. I can't remember. It tastes like Chinese food. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. But anyway, yeah, they got a Burger King there and everything, but you want to do something different, have an open mind. But I think it says something, say no pet. That means you don't want nothing spicy, because I understand the stuff is spicy, child. And you always going to the bathroom. I'm Nancy. That's another thing, Gen X. I don't have no problem going to the bathroom. I always going to the bathroom. I have a handicap apartment with a rail to my bathroom, shower and everything. So, you got to look at all of that. your knees, arthritis, all everywhere, when it rains, it affects your joint, but you gotta have your aspirins. But yeah, let's see what else. I heard one lady on the interview with the young guy from Chime. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it well. She said, "I wished I kind of worked with my stomach before I came here." She said, "Because everything is spicy. Some people that they real slender there, so I guess that spice has a lot to do with it. So in the food. So I'm not a spice. I don't like spicy food. I don't like it hot either. Little hot pepper is okay. I'm open to trying, stuff, but I'm not gonna, I don't know, God with me. But yeah, but I want to be able to have, be able to have a maid to come clean up and stuff. Cause see, I don't be feel like cleaning up now here. I just sweep from corner to corner. I always keep my bathroom clean, keep everything in its place. I cannot stand a hoarder. I don't hoarder. I'm funny about my space. I can't do that. No. But anyway, you all, I pray that this blesses you all. I'm telling you, you know, I know that I'll be traveling. God, I already know that. God said, I'm going to be traveling, globally speaking, and that's already happening with me and a lot of you that has a lot to say. You know, and just be careful who you entertain. Your energy, protect your energy, men and women. Got to protect yourself. You know, be careful. That's what I want to say. Stop, ordering out so much. You got to make a budget, young people. Even us, we got to make a budget. If you want to do a grab or how, just like here in the United States. When I realized how much that Uber Eats were, and I did it like 3 times a couple of months ago, because I had to do it. My transportation, I didn't have my transportation anymore, so I just tried it for like 3 times. I said, mm-mm. So I was able to register with Boost, Boost, Boost.com, and let Kroger, just pay $12.99 a month and let Kroger deliver, and the little tip, free delivering, but it's $12.99 a month. It covers that. I said, that's off the chain right there. And the minimum you can order is $35. So, for it to be free delivery, for it to stay on that $12.99 a month. But if you go over, and if you just order $20 worth of something, you're gonna pay $9 and something for the delivery. So, but the minimum is $35 for free delivery. $12.99. But if you're gonna order something just $20 or $10 or something like that, then you're gonna pay that $9 for the delivery plus, plus delivery, And I just try to stick with stuff, food I can put in the oven. Well, I know in Thailand they don't have that, but I'm just saying in the USA, the oven or something, soups and stuff on top of the stove, and whatever I can keep in the refrigerator, and a little microwavable. So you got to keep that same budget calculated stuff when you go out the country. That's what I'm really saying, because we can just order so much. dealing with the Grab or the Uber, and that will throw us off from paying our regular bills. And that goes for any age, any age. Okay, you all, I got something else to do. You all is I am so grateful for you all and your support. You all have a good evening and take care.